You are listening to CrossTalk, a safe place to discuss addiction, recovery, harm reduction, and everything in between. Support for this podcast comes from the Kentucky Opioid Response Effort and Advocates of Recovery. Content and production by the team at Turning Point Recovery Community Center. Now, buckle up and get ready for the show.
Welcome everyone to CrossTalk Recovery, the recovery podcast that supports all forms of recovery. I'm Matt Lewis, and I'm here with
Amanda Wiersma,
Daphne Troyer,
and Michelle Fondahl.
All right. Welcome, girls. Today we're going to have a little bit of a fun one. We did one of these before where when Sarah was here and where we all came up with 3 questions, one recovery related, one silly question, and one personal question as a way to get to know each other, talk recovery, and have a little bit of fun. So we haven't done one yet with Daphne, so we thought we'd do another one.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're doing today. So I hope you guys enjoy it. And I guess I'll start off unless anybody has anything they want to talk about.
Start us off, Matt.
All right. Let's see. Which question
You typed
do I
yours
want to... what has been the toughest thing... This is my recovery question. All right.
Okay.
What has been the toughest thing to change about yourself in your recovery? And I'll answer that question first. And probably, that I'm a smart ass, honestly.
No.
Because I addressed a lot of the, I know, surprising to a lot of you. But I addressed a lot of the big character defects pretty early on and continue to work on them. But the hardest one that I still struggle with is being a smart ass. And I know people might say that that's not a big issue, and that's how I've justified it for so long. But it is something that I want to be better at because I come across, not everyone takes me. If you don't know me, you can take me wrong, and even the people. I mean, I think I've offended Michelle a few times.
Quite often.
And not my intention. Because I'm still damaged, I think, and that's how I show love.
Sick.
But, sick. I'm sick. So I'm working on it. But, yeah. So you guys can help me with that, just like we will start to help Michelle with her cursing. Amanda, what about you?
What was the question again?
What has been the toughest thing for you to change in your recovery?
The toughest thing for me to change in my recovery is probably exaggerating.
So lying.
Yes.
Honesty is the spiritual principle behind step 1, man.
Well, not so much lying, but just exaggerating because... I a lot of times wanted to just be like, oh my gosh, you should have seen this thing. It was 50 feet long, I still kind of do that, but not as bad. It was just one of those things that, if I, fishermen, like how they would, just things like that. Right. So I would probably say just exaggerating. And I guess maybe you could call it fibbing. I just got to where so much in my addiction, I just exaggerated everything, and I think it was because I maybe wanted things to be more interesting. I wanted to seem more interesting to people, so I wanted things to be more exciting. But I don't have to do that today. People like me the way that I am, plain and simple. Yeah. And I like the way that I am today, plain and simple. I don't have to be exciting. And so that's one of the biggest things that I noticed that I have changed. And so, I don't have to be big and exciting.
No, I mean, I struggled with that one too. And I had to go back and be like, hey, that wasn't completely true.
Yeah.
Because I started to feel bad about it. Because I got so used to lying about things I didn't have to lie about at all. And it was, like you said, based in the fact that I was trying to be somebody that I wasn't. But now I love myself for who I am, and the people
Absolutely.
I'm around love me for who I am. And, I don't have to pretend to be somebody I'm not anymore.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
What about you, Daphne?
Oh, Lord. I catastrophize everything.
Oh,
okay?
yeah.
And I don't think of myself as a dramatic person, but when it comes to stuff, life on life, happening, man, I don't take it well. It's such a big ordeal for anything to happen that is out of my routine. It's hard for me to deal with. I get emotionally tangled up in it. It just really is hard for me to deal with. Those life-on-life events that are not in my routine. It tears me up emotionally, so therefore then I'm mentally drained from it, and I just blow it up to be so much bigger than what it really is. And I know that I do this, and I try to not do it, but I suck at it.
Yeah, it can definitely be hard, not worrying about things completely, like trusting God, your higher power, whatever, and just letting go. I mean, life on life affects, that's what the program teaches us, right? The steps is like how to deal with life on life stuff, how to handle things that come at us, whether it's other people's behaviors or incidents that happen in your life, and it can be a hard one to practice, but the important thing is, I think you recognize it and you're trying to work on it. As with any of these that we talk about, like recognizing those things, continuing to recognize them, and being willing to work on them is the most important part.
Right.
I can relate to the catastrophizing a lot too. That's something that I tend to do from time to time, and it's something that, as long as you recognize it, you can kind of reel it back in and be like, okay, this is what I'm doing, and I need to stop, and everything is not dramatic and a catastrophe, and an emergency, so recognizing it is, the best part about, being able to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and surrounding yourself with other people to call you on when you're acting that way. Luckily you work someplace like this where everybody's gonna be like, "What are you doing, Daphne?"
Help you reel it back in.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
What about you, Michelle? What you got?
Well, I would say mine would be not putting other people or putting other people's needs before mine. Even though I take a lot of PTO time, on those days off, I am booked from the moment I wake up until I go to bed. And it's always me doing something for someone else. And it's like, I will take care of you all day long. And then here I am at the end of the day, completely empty, just ready to just crash.
Is this a jab at me for you being here on your day off?
No, it's really not. But it's just I'll take all this PTO time, say I'm gonna do things for myself, and then somebody's like, "Hey, when's your next day off?" I'm like, "Oh, Thursday or Wednesday. I took PTO," and then it's I completely forget about myself. It's their needs become what's most important instead of mine. And then it's just here I am seeing my therapist, and I'm just and my therapist is holding me accountable. My sponsor's holding me accountable. And,
you're probably just going to have to take more PTO days.
I don't have any more left to take.
No, but I understand where you're coming from, because I have the same problem. I had to leave bowling early last night because I was so exhausted, because when I leave here, either I'm going to work with sponsees, or I'm going to volunteer through church outreach, or I'm going bowling or whatever. I have softball practice for the last couple of weeks. There's always something, and I like to stay busy.
Me too. Yeah.
It's good for me, but then at some point, I just start to crash.
Yeah.
And I just have to go lay down, like I did last night. But at least I can recognize when it's getting too much, because the days that I feel really good and have energy and I don't have anything to do, then I'm bored out of my mind.
Yeah.
So.
Haven't been bored in a long time. But it's okay. I'm learning slowly but surely. It's, progress, not perfection,
That's right.
I'm grateful to have a support system of people who love me enough to tell me about myself, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's great. All right, Amanda, you want to ask a question?
Sure. I'll ask my recovery question. It's, what are some goals you still want to achieve in your recovery journey?
Oh, good.
And it's no secret that I go to school. I talk about it all the time. And so that is my goal that I want to achieve in my recovery journey is to get a degree in psychology. It's not really a recovery goal, but it's a goal that sparked from me being in recovery. It was a goal that I set while I was in MRT and in treatment. I decided I wanted to go back to school, and my major that I chose was drug and alcohol counseling, because my counselor that I had in treatment really inspired me. So that's the goal that I want to achieve in my recovery journey, is to get a degree and help others like myself, help them in their recovery journeys. So,
That's great.
yeah, that's what I want to achieve.
Daphne.
What's that look for, Matt?
Because you're next.
What was the question?
Are you ready?
I know it was
Goal
something
is
about a
what to
goal.
achieve in your recovery.
Yeah.
Okay, so a goal that I have in my recovery, this is a little bit of a personal goal too, but I can't have this goal without being in recovery and being where I'm at today, and that's to get custody of my daughter back.
Oh, yeah.
As long as I'm working a program and doing what I'm supposed to be doing, then that's achievable. Even though, I have the length of sobriety that I have, I think it's took me this long to be comfortable with her even coming home, which is hard to say as a mother, but I was in the madness for 8 years of her life, so I didn't really know how to be a mother. I didn't know how to show up as a mother. And now that I'm able to be there in the right mind, I was there, but I was not. I should not have been there. Somebody should have made me leave.
Yeah.
I think it's, I'm just now getting to the point where I'm comfortable with being able to raise a child and know that I'm not going to mess her up.
Yeah.
It's a good goal. And
It is a
a good
great
goal.
goal.
Proud of you.
Thank you. Because I have fears of bringing her home, What if I can't do it? What if, you know what I mean? Like, I see my mom doing all this stuff for her, and I'm like, wow, I don't know that I can do that, And, just working with my church and my program, they give me tools to be able to be a healthy mother today.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Michelle, what do you got?
Okay. Man, this one's tough. Mine's I think mine's real simple. But it's been hard for me, and it's something I still haven't been able to do. Oh gosh. It's like be able to let go and forgive my dad. It's still something that I hold on to. And I mean, it's not simple, but it's just like, it's still working the steps, still, I haven't forgiven them, and I try to, I just hold on to that crap, and so with that being said, that's part of like continuing to take care of myself, being committed to going to therapy and putting myself first, because I was canceling my therapy appointments on my days off because I was just stretched too thin. And so yeah, mine's taking care of myself and sticking with it so that I can forgive my dad and move on, because that's just something in my life that's just really been troubling me lately. So
That's a good
crazy,
goal.
I mean, you can do it.
Yeah.
You have to forgive to be forgiven.
Yeah, I know, and I remind myself that all the time. I'm like, well, I want everybody to forgive me, but I still hold on to this, and I went and met with my sponsor yesterday for a couple of hours after the meeting, and I'm just talking to her about it, and I was just like, I just don't know how to let go. I don't understand. I was like, but that's what my therapist is for, So thank God, that I'm still teachable. And I know that I don't have to have all the answers, and I can consult professionals. I don't let that ego get in the way or lie to myself and tell me I've forgiven. You know what I mean? Because the first year that I was sober, I was like, oh, I've forgiven everybody while I'm in a treatment center. And then you come home and there they are, you know. It's like, wait a second, I ain't done this, you know.
Yeah.
It's a continuing progress, you know.
It definitely is. And I think that's mine, actually, is to maintain be vigilant and maintain the passion for my recovery that I have, you know, not getting complacent. You know, I've seen people with years and years of sobriety mess up because they started slacking on this stuff, and that scares me. So, like,
me too.
I tell people, like, all the time that I think we should always treat this like we're MT1s or phase 1 or what, you know, what, depending on what program you were, you know, newcomers is the way I try to always act. Like, the meeting's a priority, you know, the doing all the things that are suggested of me, the calling sponsors, the talking to other people, to giving back, all that stuff is a priority, a necessity, to where even, I mean, I'm not having to get sheets signed. I'm not having to, there's nobody other than my friends who care about me holding me accountable today. Yeah. But I try to hold myself accountable and keep myself to that higher standard of, like, really doing all those things that are good for me and they're going to keep me going in my recovery.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
All right, Daphne, what's your question?
Oh, no. Okay.
Here we go.
Any question you want.
All right. Are we going just with Rick?
Yeah, I mean, you can do a different one. Maybe switch it up because we've had 2 back-to-back.
All right, well, let's do the silly question.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm not really good. I'm silly at home, you know, but it was really hard for me to think of an appropriate silly question. So, when you eat a gummy bear, do you eat the head or the feet first? Well, I just eat the whole thing, you know?
That's exactly the first thing I thought. Like,
yeah.
Do you nibble on a gummy bear?
But if you had to.
Well, the head.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, if I had to, I would eat the head first. That just seems proper. Just decapitate it.
Do they make really large gummy bears?
They do.
That
They do.
Be like, where do I start on this thing?
Yeah.
You know, and I think I would eat the foot first.
If it was a large one,
Yeah.
You have a
I'd probably start with the
gummy
ear.
foot fetish?
Ear.
A gummy foot fetish.
Gummy foot fetish.
but yeah, I mean, I actually, you know, if I'm eating gummy bears, I do this with all candy. If I lay them out and I coordinate the colors and eat like 2 at a time, and they have to be the same color.
Yeah.
So yeah, that I couldn't imagine just eating one gummy bear and yeah.
Or just the head. Like,
Yeah.
throwing the rest away.
Now I'm going to think about this every time I eat gummy bears.
Yeah.
Good.
That was a good one.
Food for thought.
That's what you did there.
We'll be right back.
Hey y'all, did you know it's illegal to own just one guinea pig in Switzerland because they get lonely? Here at Turning Point, we don't want you to ever be lonely either. That's why we're open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Always feel free to come hang with our friendly staff, and don't forget your guinea pig. We're located at 415 Broadway Street, downtown Paducah.
One thing I have always wondered is who put the alphabet in alphabetical order. At Turning Point, our goal is to help you put your life back in order. If you struggle or have struggled with substance use disorder and are in need of help, come see us at 415 Broadway Street, Paducah, Kentucky, or call 270-444-3621 and sign up for peer support services with one of our friendly staff who have lived experience with addiction. Hope to see you soon. All right, Michelle, you got a question?
Yeah, so I will do a personal question. Who impacted your life the most as a child?
Well, you go first.
Okay. So I think mine would be my grandma. You know, she knew that I was a little special, you know, and that I needed extra love. you know, and she always was very intentional. You know, going to her house on the weekends, man, it was so much fun. She always had cool activities, and she took me places. And like my grandma, I knew that she didn't have a lot of money, but she always made everything fun. You know, she taught me how to paint, which I'm not like a good painter, but like as a kid, you know, like painting portraits. And she always, like, we would make jewelry and we would play dress up. And like, she knew my home life was tough. And like, she just made sure she was there for me every single weekend. You know, even like if she had a boyfriend or something, like it was known Michelle's going to be with us this weekend. And she just gave me that extra bit of attention and love. And, you know, that I needed as a kid. So she definitely impacted my life, man. It was great having my grandma.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a good one. All right. I mean, I was sitting here thinking about it. It's kind of a tough one, like impacted positively, negatively.
Man, I guess we can just do whatever. Yeah.
You know, and there's so many factors. At first I started thinking about my grandpa, but as a young child, he wasn't around very much because we moved around so much.
Yeah.
And, you know, I butt heads with my parents a bunch because I was homeschooled for most of my childhood with me and my 3 sisters. So it was just like, it was crazy. I guess the way I started thinking about that question is like we moved around so much as a kid, and because of being homeschooled, I really at a young age, put value on friendships, whatever friendships I had. And then when we'd live somewhere for a couple of years and move, and I'd lose those friends. And this was back, you know, there wasn't cell phones. You know, you had to write a letter or something, and I wasn't doing that. So it was just like I would lose, and that would hurt. And so I really started putting too much probably value on friendships, and the whole people-pleasing thing trying to be the person that I wanted everyone to like me, you know, and that probably wasn't a good way to, you know, the thing to focus on, you know, at a young age. So it probably, whether it made me be someone who was, you know, loyal and caring and wanted to foster friendships and relationships, but it also maybe put too much value on what other people thought of me and people pleasing and things like that. So positive and negative, it was probably relationships.
Yeah.
You know?
Good answer.
That's a good answer. I like that.
It's an answer. What do you got, Amanda?
Well, you know, when Michelle said that question, my immediate thought was my mom. You know how I feel about my mom. But then when you started talking about negatively too and positively, then I immediately went to my father, because he wasn't in my life. He was an absent father, my biological father. You know, and so I have severe daddy issues because, you know, I felt like my dad didn't want me, didn't love me, because he never ever tried to see my brother or I. So I was raised by my stepfather. And so that made me think of my stepfather and how he impacted my life, because, you know, he married my mother when I was 4 years old, and I was very close to him as a child. He drag raced motorcycles and on the weekend, and he took me along every weekend because I loved it. I was right there. Man, I was his number one, and went to those drag races with him. My brother was not interested at all, but we were so close. And I remember one time we were at Harned's or someplace like that, and we were getting lunch before we were going to the drag race, and somebody came up, and I was probably 8, 9 years old, but a friend of his came up to the car, and he introduced me. He said, "This is my daughter."
Oh.
And I just remember that I'd never been introduced as a daughter by a dad by a male before, and I never called him dad. I always called him by his name. But I just remember that feeling that I had, that I was so proud. I was like, I'm his daughter, you know? And so I would probably have to say that my stepdad, because, you know, he stepped in and took care of me and was my dad and loved me as his own child. You know, and it's sad that we don't get along and we don't speak today. But in my childhood, I would say that my stepdad impacted my life positively. And he raised me, and he raised me right. He showed me love. But yeah, absolutely, my stepdad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can totally get that. What about you, Daphne?
Well, I would have two that's equal. My grandma Rita and my granny, which was my grandma Rita's mom. My dad was a single dad at first. He worked a lot, and then when he wasn't working, he was partying up north. And Grandma just always made time for me. She babysat me for Dad to go out and do whatever he, work his second or third shift, and then, do what he did after work. She always tried to protect me from everything that was going on. She would take me places. I remember every Friday night, she would take me to McDonald's, and I'd get to get a Happy Meal, and then we would go to Kmart, and I'd get an outfit, and I just really thought that...
Every Friday, huh?
Yeah, every Friday.
The Kmart.
Spoiled
I'm
rotten.
like, yes, thank you. She was an amazing woman, very strong. She took care of her family. She took care of my grandpa, made sure the housework was done and the children were taken care of, and she was just really amazing. We'd watch, do you remember that show? What is the name of it? Crypts from the Tail? Or
Tales from the
Tales from the Crypt. Said it backwards. Man, we would just clown on each other. I'd be like, Grandma, look, that's you on TV. And then a monster would come out, and she'd be like, look at you, Daphne. We would just have so much fun. And she loved bird watching, and they had property in Wisconsin, and we'd go camping and put the watermelon in the creek for it to get cold. And we just did a lot of fun stuff, yard sales, and I miss her so much, She helped me pick my daughter's name, was the last conversation that I had with her before she passed away. And, it was a great conversation, to have with her. And my granny taught me how to sew, and, it was like she had all this magical stuff that in her rooms, all the Avon bottles and, all the material and the laces. I can make some of the best pillows. But, yeah, those people, they really invested their time into me, especially as I started getting a little older. I got into drugs young, and they still loved me regardless,
Yeah. They sound amazing.
Yeah, sounds like a lot of fun. And I'm going to need to get a pillow now.
Yeah, absolutely. A big lacy one.
For me?
Yeah.
Thanks, Michelle. All right, my turn to ask a question.
Yes.
I'll do my personal question. What was the dumbest thing you ever did while you were high?
Oh, my goodness.
And see, the
Dumbest?
possibilities are endless for me for this answer this question. And I think
Drunk.
the one that I like, right? I mean,
Under the influence.
Yes.
Yeah.
The one that caused me the most pain was on a New Year's Eve, and I think I've sort of told this story on here before, but on a New Year's Eve, I was drunk on a bunch of hallucinogens and uppers and who knows what else. And when I get on hallucinogens, I like to climb things. And I was on the roof of a garage, and apparently I fell off when I was trying to climb down, but I don't remember that part, and impaled my leg on a broken metal fence pole. And but I wasn't feeling any pain at the time. It wasn't until someone spotted blood in the chair I was sitting in that I realized. And apparently it was such a bad wound that everybody started freaking out. There was a big hole in the back of my thigh, and you can't go to the emergency room on New Year's Eve in that condition. So we duct taped it up, and I went home, and I woke up in the morning and went straight to immediate care. And when they opened it, they freaked out, and they're like, we can't do anything with this. You have to go to the emergency room. And they had to stitch it together inside my leg to get it close enough where they could stitch it together on the, outer layer or whatever. And for 6 months, I couldn't hardly sit down right, and I had to, you know, it was hard using the bathroom. It was a terrible way to start the year, and it was just, you know, one of those things because you're messed up thinking you're having fun, and you just altered the whole. I had a lot of bad New Year's Eve experiences, but they were my own fault. But anyway, that was mine. What about you, Amanda?
Well, when you say the dumbest thing, are you talking about the
different
most
levels. I mean,
dangerous or just like the dumbest idea?
It could have been anything. I mean, obviously, like any of the stuff we're doing that gets us in trouble, you know, or
Okay.
injured, or maybe it's just funny to you, you know. But
Okay. Because, you know, I had a car accident where, you know, I could have killed 2 people. So that was obviously like the most dangerous. But just for the dumbest thing that I think I've ever done was, because this was a dumb idea. I don't know who thought that this was going to be fun. But me and my best friend one night, we decided that while we were drinking and carrying on, that we were going to have pee off the porch night. So, so if you had to pee, you had to pee off the porch.
Goodness.
So that was our grand idea for the evening. We were going to pee off the porch.
and no one fell off the porch, though.
Oh, I did because, I mean, a drunk female trying to pee off the porch. I mean, that's pretty dumb.
I got all kinds of images in my head right now
Yeah.
of
So
what that looks like.
that was I feel like that was pretty dumb.
Yeah.
So when you say dumb, I think of that, and so
It's a good
it was
one.
pretty dumb.
Pretty dumb.
But I also feel like blackout driving
Yeah.
Very dumb.
was very dumb.
I did a lot of that as well.
I did
Yeah.
that. I did that very often.
And we're not, glorifying this
No.
in any way. This is,
This is not glorifying. Yeah.
But we have to be able to laugh at those things too. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
I cringe when I think back to those things because
How embarrassing.
how embarrassing. I mean, people were driving by. I mean, this was not a road that was secluded. How embarrassing, like who does that? Who does stuff like that? It's not cute. It was dumb. That's why you said, what is the dumbest thing you've ever done? Well, because it was dumb, So, but, yep.
All right, Daphne, what you got?
Oh, Lord. So the first thing I thought of when you said that question was, okay, I was over at my dad's in Murray. Had been fighting with my ex. And so I went to my dad's house to stay. And I was pretty lit. And I got a phone call that a couple of my friends were tripping on acid. And one of them was going to die because his blood pressure was up really high. So he was tripping that he was going to die. So they want him, and it's like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. And they want me to come all the way out to Marshall County. So I head out about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. And I keep seeing these lights behind me in the car. And I'm tripping. I'm like, something's following me. So I'm taking all these back roads. And as I go, down the hill, this light hits my rear view window, my rear view mirror, and it's like, and then I go down and I can't see it no more. But when I come up, there it is again, and I'm freaking out that it's a cop, and I've got this stuff on me, and I'm tripping, but I'm not willing to throw it out, because how dare I part with my drugs? No way. We're going down together. And so for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, it took me to get, over there to Pirates Cove. When I get there, I'm tripping. I'm like, oh my gosh. And as I'm pulling up into their driveway, I look back one last time and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's the moon. I've been chased by the moon for 2 hours.
I really thought it was going to be a cop.
I did too. I thought it was going to be like a
You're
ton
dumb.
of cops. Yeah.
It was horrible. And when that hit, when I was like, I just got chased by the moon. You know what I mean? Like, oh my gosh, that's so stupid.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. All right, Michelle.
Man, I'm just sitting here thinking, like, there's two really, really dumb stories, but I had one picked out until Daphne started telling that story, and it reminded me of this other story. So, like, it's really late at night, and I was scared to drive from my friend's house to my house, but they were wigging me out, like I was really, really high, and they were just acting weird. So I leave and I go to the Waffle House. I'm in Benton. I go to the Waffle House in Benton, and I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden I see this person sitting across the room by themselves, but they're on their phone. And I was like, is that Deputy so-and-so? And I'm like, my fucking gosh. I was like, they done told this cop that I'm leaving, and somehow they knew that I was going to go to the Waffle House first, because at this point I'm like hearing voices and, things of that nature. So I'm really freaking myself out. And the more I am getting anxious, the more anxiety and the more paranoid I'm getting. So I'm there, I order my food, about to order it to go, and I get in the car, and I'm driving down the parkway, leaving Benton, headed to Calvert City, and I see all these cops in the opposite lane go by, headed towards Benton. I was like, thank God I left the Waffle House. When I did, they were all coming to bust me. So I freaking get on the parkway, and I get on, like, you can head towards Nashville and get on the interstate. I get on the interstate there, and then I get off in Livingston, and I just keep seeing all these things that are freaking me out. And I'm like, they're tracking me by my phone. And I'd went through 3 phones in like the past couple of months, and my dad just gave me his old phone, and he told me, whatever you do, don't mess this one up. So I get to Livingston County, to where like the exit is, where the BP and stuff is, and I get back on, and I head back towards Calvert City, and you go over this bridge, and I threw my dad's phone off the bridge.
No.
Because I was convinced that they were tracking me. And they weren't freaking tracking me. It was all just, I was too high, too paranoid, and I just kept freaking myself out. I mean, I went through so many phones, and I had to tell my dad. I was like, and of course I lied, I'm sure, but it was just like they weren't. And like in my mind, I was just convinced that like everybody was trying to set me up, and I wasn't like this big time drug dealer, like. I was like this just small town, drug dealer, not even that big, but like I didn't really think things through. My paranoia always got the best of me, and I would just drive around, like go way far out of the way, thinking people were following me and stuff. It was just insanity, man. Just pure insanity. Like taking the long ways everywhere,
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
I mean, just stupid.
All right, Amanda, you got a question?
I do. Okay. My personal question is, name 3 things you like about yourself.
Ooh.
Okay. I like my smile. I like it. Evidently, I have a nice smile. People tell me that all the time. So I like my smile, and I like smiling. So I like that. I like my hair. I kind of have an emotional attachment to my hair because I had cancer, and I didn't lose my hair because I did cold capping, but my hair did thin, and my hair has grown back thicker and more full, but it's just something that I have an emotional attachment to because I did lose a lot of it when I had cancer. So it's just something that I just have an emotional attachment to, and I like my accountability. As I mentioned earlier, that I was an exaggerator. But, today I can hold myself accountable when I exaggerate. I can hold myself accountable when I've done something wrong. Yeah. When I've harmed someone, I can, I have no problems holding myself accountable. And I'm quick to, when I have done something wrong or when I have harmed someone, when just in any situation, I can hold my accountability. Just earlier today, we got these cool flash drives in, and I just took one, and then I was like, I hold myself accountable for taking.
You're always holding yourself accountable.
I mean, I just, I just that my integrity is really important to me today.
Yeah.
So I like my accountability. So those are my 3 things.
All right.
All right. 3 things I like about myself. I like how caring I am. How everything matters. I really like that about myself. Because for a long time, I didn't care about anything. I didn't care about you. I didn't care about me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I might be overly caring now. But I'm grateful to be that way. I like my personality. For the longest time, I was so numb I didn't even have a personality, all you got was anger and rudeness and, bitterness. So I really like the person that I've grown in to be, And one more thing. I don't know. I don't know. My personality, my caring, and I'm gonna say my weight. Because I've really struggled with gaining my weight in recovery, which a lot of women do when they get sober, and I'm okay with it today. If you don't like it, you don't have to look at it.
Absolutely.
There you go, Daphne.
Right
Heck
on.
yeah.
Yeah, it's important to be comfortable with yourself. All right, what do you got, Michelle?
My laughter. I enjoy laughing. I'm fun. And there was one more I was sitting here thinking. My positive attitude. Yeah. Have a pretty positive attitude.
It's all right.
Yeah. If you don't like it.
Well, obviously, for me, it's my rugged good looks.
There you go.
I like that I'm chill. I'm pretty easygoing. It takes a lot to upset me or, I just kind of go with the flow today. And it didn't used to always be that way. I used to worry about everything and stress. And now I just kind of, chill. I like my drive and determination. Like, I guess energy. Like, I need to get more rest, but I don't. I always have. Even at my age, like I'm still active. Always doing something, playing sports and climbing and the things that I enjoy doing. And I like being creative. I like creating. I like creating things. I like to paint. I like to write music and perform music. I like to cook. Anytime I'm creating something, I did that, even if it's terrible. I enjoy the process of doing it. So,
yeah, and at your age, you get around pretty well. You may be the oldest
Easy now. Easy. He's not the
Amanda's
oldest.
older than me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the oldest male.
He's the oldest male.
Yeah. Yeah, in the room.
In any room.
Ouch.
Goodness.
All right, whose turn is it?
Daphne.
Daphne's?
Yeah.
All right. I was like, where did my notes go? Okay, personal question. What motivates you? What motivates me is, wanting to be a better person every day. I strive to be better than I was the day before. I try to learn from every day. My daughter is a big motivator for me, to be a good mom that she can be proud of. I just want to be better than what I used to be in the madness, and I strive every day to be better than the day before. Mm-hmm. And I don't always succeed. Sometimes I let life get to me and it gets me down, or I have those mental health days, where I'm struggling. But, for the most part, I try to stay positive and just to be better than I was.
It's good.
Yeah.
Shell?
Yeah. So I would say, what motivates me is, knowing that I've harmed people in my past, using that pain of not wanting to be that person anymore, it motivates me to continually to work on myself. And then, like, even on my tough days where, you just want to give up, and it's just like, man, people are watching me, we got to do something about this bad attitude, let's restart your day. Just that I'm surrounded by people that matter to me. I don't want to, like, come into work in a negative mood and harm people. I care about everybody I work with. I care about everybody I live with. So it's just like, if I can't do it for myself that day, I do it for other people. It's like, shoot, I try not to harm people. Like, I got to, and it's not really shoot. It's just, that's what motivates me. I just want to be a better person because I was such a bad person for so long. I don't want to live like that anymore. So I just use that pain from the past to motivate me, to keep me on track.
That's good.
Yep.
Yeah, mine's similar to that. One of the things that I hated looking at when I started working my fourth step was to think about not just the people I've harmed, but the ripple effect of that.
Yeah.
Like how that caused them to treat other people and so on and so forth out into the world. So I'm motivated today to try to create positive ripples. I'll never be able to make up for all my negative ripples that I've put into the world, but I can, like, really strive to put positivity in the world, to be, I know this might sound like a conflict to my saying earlier I'm kind of a smartass, but I try to be an encouragement to
me too.
people,
Yeah.
and to motivate people. I mean, that's part of our job here, and that's how I do my peer sports. Is like, you set the goals, and I'm gonna, cheer you on.
Yeah.
And so I try to be that person to put positivity in the world.
Yeah.
Me too.
What you got, Amanda?
What motivates me is my sobriety, my freedom, and my health. I always say every day that I'm grateful for those three things because, my sobriety is number one. I'm so grateful for that because that has gotten me my life back. My freedom, I had that taken away, and I never want to lose my freedom ever again. And then my health, I had cancer, and, that was one of the scariest things I've ever been through in my life, and, my health. So those are just three things that motivate me to continue to do the next right thing. I definitely understand that life is too short, to not create something beautiful with every breath that I draw. I may not always be perfect at doing it, but I definitely appreciate life a lot more than I did in my addiction.
That's good.
We'll be right back.
As a woman in recovery, I know how important having a fellowship of women has been for me. Come join us at the Women of Worth All Recovery Support Group here at Turning Point, 415 Broadway, Paducah, Kentucky, every Friday night at 6 p.m., where we discuss our personal experiences in recovery. Hope to see you there.
Did you know that recovery from substance use disorder and mental health go hand in hand? That is why the caring and compassionate mental health professionals at Four Rivers Behavioral Health in Paducah are here to help you find your balance. They are proud of you for making the changes necessary to live a healthier life and would love to see you reach your full potential. Give them a call at 270-442-7121 or stop by the downtown location at 425 Broadway in Paducah, Kentucky.
Okay.
What's your question, Michelle?
I was like, what is he doing? So my question is, what's your favorite part in the big book? What story, your favorite paragraph? So my favorite story is Empty on the Inside, and my favorite part is the last paragraph. It says, I still have a sponsor and a home group today. I'm a member of Alcoholics Anonymous in good standing. I learned how to be a good AA member by watching good AA members and doing what they do. I learned how to have a good marriage by watching people with good marriages and doing what they do. I learned how to be a parent by watching good parents and doing what they do. And I finally have the freedom of believing that it's all right not to know. And, that last couple of sentences where it said I learned how to be a parent by watching good parents and believing that it's all right to not know. For so long, I didn't know how to be a good mom. It was just like my life was chaos as a child, and I felt like my dad held me to such high standards, like these unrealistic standards. Like it was not okay to mess up in our household. So knowing that I don't have to have all the answers, and that I've never raised teenagers before, and that it's okay to not have all the answers, has given me such relief, and I'm proud of the community I live in. I'm proud of, the people who came before me. I'm grateful for the rooms in AA. So I'm grateful for my home group and my sponsor, and to be a sponsor. And so for that, that little paragraph right there, always hits whenever I read it.
It's a good one. So many of the parts of the big book stick out to me, but what I really always think about is, you'll hear sponsors or somebody in the room say, you open up to the first page and it's blank, and that's what nothing. Because that realizing that I really knew nothing, and but being open-minded enough to start actually paying attention to what was in that book and applying it, that's it was just a good starting point for me. And I've read it a couple times, and I get in it as I sponsor people, and there's so much good things in there. I love On Awakening. I've prayed that every day since I was in treatment. Was 417, acceptance is always one that I liked. And so many good things. What do you got, Amanda?
My favorite part is page 419. It says, when I focus on what's good today, I have a good day. When I focus on what's bad, I have a bad day. If I focus on a problem, the problem increases. If I focus on the answer increases. Self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Very good.
That's always a good one.
So mine is empty on the inside too, on page 520. And it says, there's a story above it about how she met this guy in the meeting that his daughter had just been killed, and she realized that could have been her. Down in the bottom here it says, and I kept coming back. I couldn't begin to list all the wonderful things that have happened in the years here. My kids were 4 and 6 when I got sober, and they have grown up in AA, and I brought them to open meetings, and the people there gave them what I couldn't in the early days, love and attention. Gradually, they become part of my life again, and today I have custody of my children. That gave me hope that my family could be restored.
Yeah. Amen. That's good. All right. My last question, my silly question, and it is inappropriate, probably.
Oh, yes.
I mean, all right. Would you rather poop your pants in public?
Oh, goodness.
Or eat a pound of silly putty? And I would definitely rather poop my pants in public.
Yeah.
Even if I had to eat the silly putty in private. It would be embarrassing and messy, but that's just what
Nobody
I would choose.
would remember later on.
Yeah.
Unless it was your friends.
I mean, can you imagine if you had to poop silly putty?
Oh, no.
And a whole
my
pound?
goodness.
That's a lot of silly putty.
It might kill you, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. What you got, Amanda?
I'd probably poop my pants in public.
Me too.
As well.
Definitely poop.
No, my
pants in
goodness,
public.
yeah.
You guys are gross. No, I'm just kidding. All right. What's your question, Amanda?
Okay. All I have left is my silly question. And it is, which would you rather deal with? Have no nose, but have really good smelling fingers? Or be blind, but have a really nice smile?
What you got?
I believe I would rather... Well, I think I'd rather be blind and have a really nice smile. Because I don't think I would like to have smelling fingers.
Like fingers that smell stuff or
Yes.
stinky?
That smells stuff because you don't have a nose.
Yeah, okay,
So
yeah.
your fingers are what smell. I don't think I'd like that.
I'd be like,
Yeah.
What if you accidentally?
But then, like
got your
anything you
hands into
grab,
something?
You're
like
gonna
if you're
sniff.
like if you're cleaning up something nasty,
Like
and
dog
then it's
poop.
right in your nose. Yeah,
Where your fingers
yeah.
go.
I'll be blind with a nice smile.
Yes. Yeah, I don't think I'd like to have the smelling fingers.
wear gloves.
Smelling fingers for you, Daphne.
Absolutely not.
So everybody wants the nice smile.
Nice smile, but
Nice
you will
smile.
never get to see it though.
Yeah,
No.
that would be terrible.
But other people
But everyone
would.
would tell you, man, you should see your smile.
It could light up a room.
All right, Daphne, what do you got?
Okay, this is my recovery question. What is the most important thing you can say to someone in recovery that will mean the most to them? So my answer to that,
Ooh, I got it. Sorry.
totally lost my train of thought there. So my answer to that is, you're not alone. To me, that was the most important thing that when I truly felt that I wasn't alone was life-changing for me.
It's a good one. It's a really good one.
Yeah.
That is
So
good.
you got it.
I got it. Hold on, pain ends. You know what I mean?
Right, yes.
Those
How?
words I have quoted so much in my life. Just hold on, pain ends. Like, man, this is going to get better. It's got to. Can't get any worse.
Yes.
Yeah. Man, that's a tough one for me because I feel like it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
It depends on where you're at, like whether you are actually wanting recovery or whether, like, is it something that you could say to somebody that could maybe help them to want recovery? I think
Just keep it
I
simple,
think
stupid.
Daphne's is a really good one. Yeah, there's so many of those great sayings. You get so sick of the easy does it, trust the process, stay in position. But all of them are true when you
They
apply them, and if you stay around long enough, you'll find that out. But I think Daphne had a really good answer.
Yeah.
That you're not alone.
Never alone.
That's so, because a lot of us, I know that's how I was when I got there. I felt alone. I didn't care if I lived or died, and I thought it was over. I'd done everything that was going to matter, and I was so wrong. So I like that answer. What do you got, Amanda?
I think one day at a time. I mean, that's one of those things that's so everybody says it, one of those sayings, but it's really true. Because that's what I had to do. Is like, what do I have to take? What do I have to do to get through today? Just stay in today. Don't stress over tomorrow. Don't obsess over yesterday. Just what do you have to do to get through today? Just focus on what you have to do. What do you have to do to get through this morning? What do you have to do to get through this afternoon? What do you have to do tonight? Just focus on those things, baby steps. It's not, don't overwhelm yourself, just do what you have to do today.
I'm all about the baby steps.
Worry about tomorrow when it gets here. I still have to do that today.
Yeah.
I still, what do I have, you have to plan some things for the future, like, I have a doctor's appointment next week. But I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh my God, I hope it's the weekend coming. I hope I don't get drunk. Don't worry about the weekend right now. It's not the weekend, just focus on today. Just for today.
That's good.
That's, I love that one. I love it a lot.
It's a good one. All right, Michelle. Final question.
What would your superpower be if you could have one?
Didn't you do this one last time?
I don't remember.
It
I
seems
remember
like
we got into an
somebody did.
argument about Iron Man and having superpowers.
No, that was what superhero would you be if you could be one?
That's the same thing.
I don't
All right,
know.
What superpower would you have?
I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I've still been thinking. Maybe. Maybe be invisible. I don't know. Like, wouldn't that be kind of cool?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Sure, that's great. Yeah, I wish you were invisible.
Oh my goodness.
You could like scare
You
people.
left yourself wide open. For
I
that.
know, but you could like scare people and play
Yeah.
pranks on them.
That's not nice.
But
Why
it's
do you want
fun.
to scare people, Michelle?
It's fun.
Yeah. That's like Nathan telling, what was it at the holiday special podcast where he was talking about scaring his kids, and that was his like favorite thing he'd done. Like, what? That's sick.
No, it is fun.
If I had superpowers, I would probably be. I used to want to be the Flash when I was a kid, just really fast. You know,
Yeah.
go anywhere, and then he could turn back time. He ran so fast. I thought that was cool. You know, but yeah, the Flash. You got.
I'd probably want to be like Thor and just summon a giant hammer that I could just demolish stuff with.
Yeah. You guys want to scare people and demolish stuff.
Yeah.
No, Thor's cool.
Yeah.
Thor is cool.
Thor powers.
Lightning.
Yeah.
Daphne.
Oh my goodness.
Superpowers. So many, right?
Right. I guess if I had a superpower, I would want it to be to see into the future.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a control freak, you know?
Yeah.
See that? Yeah. And you wouldn't have to worry about everything.
No more catastrophizing.
Right. Problem
Unless
solved.
it was necessary.
There is a solution.
All right, this was fun. I'm glad we did this. I don't need to do these ever so often.
Yeah, it was
But,
fun.
It is.
Thanks for
nice.
having me.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
thank
man.
you all for coming on. The Women of Turning Point.
Yeah.
So don't forget to check us out on YouTube or listen to our audio versions on Apple, Google, Spotify, or Podbean. And as always, stay grateful.
If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction or in recovery and needs guidance, speak with Turning Point's team of peer support specialists by calling 270-444-3621. You are not alone, and we are proof that recovery is possible.